The rain had just stopped when Daniel parked his car in front of the old mansion. The house stood silent at the top of the hill, wrapped in fog, its windows dark like tired eyes. For a moment, he just sat there, listening to the sound of his own breathing. He had promised himself he'd never come back, and yet here he was. The wind moved through the trees, whispering something he couldn't quite understand. The gate creaked as he pushed it open, and the smell of wet earth mixed with a faint, familiar perfume, one he hadn't smelled in years. Inside, the hallway was colder than he remembered. Dust covered the furniture, and every step he took echoed through the empty rooms. A portrait hung crooked on the wall, a young woman with calm eyes and a soft smile. His heart tightened. Lena. He closed his eyes for a second, as if her name alone could summon the past, but when he opened them, he froze. The door at the end of the corridor, the one that always stayed locked, was standing slightly open. Daniel hesitated. No one should have been here. The house had been abandoned for years, yet he could hear something faint behind that door, a soft, rhythmic sound, like someone breathing. He took a cautious step forward. The air grew colder. Then, from inside the dark room came a whisper. A voice that shouldn't exist. "Daniel, you came back." For a second, he thought his mind was playing tricks. The voice was soft, almost tender, but it came from the other side of the door. His heart pounded in his chest, each beat louder than the last. "Who's there?" he asked, trying to sound calm. No answer, only silence. He pushed the door open. The hinges groaned, revealing the old music room. The piano stood where it always had, covered in dust, but one key was pressed down. Just one. The note was faintly vibrating, like it had been played a moment ago. Daniel stepped inside, scanning the shadows. The smell of lilies filled the air, Lena's favorite flower. He remembered how she used to sit by the piano, laughing softly as her fingers danced over the keys. "Lena," he whispered. The curtains moved slightly, though the windows were closed. Something cold brushed his arm. He turned, but no one was there. His throat tightened. On the piano, something caught his eye, a letter. It was sealed, but the handwriting was unmistakable, hers. His hands trembled as he picked it up. The paper was yellowed, but the ink still fresh as if it had been written yesterday. He unfolded it slowly. "Daniel," it began, "if you are reading this, it means the house has finally woken up again. Do not trust what you see. The truth is buried beneath the music." The last line stopped him cold. "And I'm not the only one here." Daniel stood frozen, the letter trembling in his hand. His eyes scanned the words again, searching for meaning, but his mind refused to believe what he had just read. The house has woken up again. He looked around. Everything was quiet. Too quiet. The smell of lilies lingered heavier now, as if the air itself remembered her. He closed his eyes for a moment, and when he opened them, he saw something faint on the wall. A shadow. It moved. "Hello?" he said, stepping back. No one answered. Yet the piano key pressed itself again. A single low note that seemed to vibrate inside his chest. Then another. Slowly, softly, a melody began to play on its own. Daniel's heart raced. He recognized the song immediately. It was their song, the one Lena had written for him before she disappeared. He followed the sound, his breath shallow. The piano lid moved slightly as if someone invisible were playing. And then he saw it. A shape, faint and pale, sitting at the bench. Long hair, delicate hands. "Lena," he whispered. The figure turned its head. But it wasn't her. The face was blurred, unfamiliar, eyes hollow like glass. Daniel stumbled backward, the letter falling to the floor. The piano stopped, Silence fell again, heavy and complete. He bent down to pick up the letter, but now, on the back of the page, new words had appeared, words that hadn't been there before. In shaky handwriting, they read, "Stop looking for me, you're next." Daniel's heartbeat thundered in his ears. He dropped the letter and ran toward the door, his steps echoing through the empty halls. The air felt heavier now, thicker, colder. Every light he passed flickered, as if the house itself were breathing. "Enough," he muttered, forcing a nervous laugh. "It's just my imagination, just old memories." But the front door wouldn't open. The lock twisted, refusing to move. He pulled harder, his hands trembling. "Come on!" Then a sound behind him. Footsteps. Slow. Careful. Coming closer. Daniel turned, his breath quick and shallow. "Who's there?" Nothing. The footsteps stopped. He stared into the long corridor, the same one where the portrait of Lena hung. Except now the portrait was gone. In its place was something else. A mirror. One he had never seen before. Its frame was old and cracked, but the glass shimmered faintly like it was alive. He stepped closer. His reflection looked strange, pale, distorted, eyes darker than his own. Then the reflection moved. But Daniel didn't. He froze. The reflection raised a hand slowly, pressing it against the inside of the mirror. And then, from behind the glass, he heard his own voice whisper, "Don't leave, she's still waiting for you." Daniel stumbled back, panic flooding his chest. He turned to run, but the hallway had changed. The door was gone. Only darkness ahead, and behind him the sound of a piano note, softly playing again. Daniel walked through the darkness, guided only by the faint glow of moonlight slipping through the cracks in the walls. The air smelled of dust and old wood. Every step creaked under his weight. The music had stopped, but the echo of the piano key still rang in his ears, soft and haunting. Then silence. When he opened his eyes, the room was gone. He stood in the old hallway again, but this time, everything looked new. The dust was gone. The lights were warm. The air smelled of lilies and rain. And Lena stood at the end of the corridor, smiling gently. "Lena!" His voice trembled. "Is it really you?" She nodded. "It's me, the way we were, before everything changed." He took a step toward her. "I never meant to hurt you. I came back because I wanted to set things right." Her smile faded. "You can't change the past, Daniel. You can only remember it." He looked down and saw that his hands were fading. The light shone through them like smoke. His heart stopped. "Lena, what's happening to me?" She reached out, touching his cheek softly. "You died that night too. The storm, the fire, the promise we made." His eyes filled with tears. "Then this house is us," she finished. "Our memory, our promise." The music box began to play again, slow and sweet. The walls glowed softly as she whispered, "Now we can finally keep it forever." Daniel smiled through his tears. Forever. The house fell silent once more. Outside, the rain began to fall again, gentle, endless, as the old mansion watched over the hill, waiting for the next heart brave enough to remember. Thanks for listening to Fluent Tales. Did this story inspire you? Subscribe to hear more English stories like this one. We learn best when we feel every word.